So good afternoon and welcome to the Federation for Children with Special Needs daily live stream. It's Tuesday and it's Transition Tuesday at the Federation. I'm subbing in for my colleague Nancy Mader, who is without power today, so she's not able to join us. But I'm going to talk a little bit about a transition topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that's really listening and learning from youth. Um, I am the parent of two young adult sons, both who went through school on IEPs, and I think we were pretty involved parents. With my first son, there was a lot of shared decision making, and we seemed to work together and kind of navigate school and choices pretty well. With my second son, at age 18, he decided to sign himself off an IEP and um, have a little bit more independent decision making. So I think today I'm going to share a little bit about what I've learned and what is some of the guiding principles and practices in our field of transition around youth and self-advocacy and um, choice and decision making. So I know as a parent, we always want what's best for our child. We have a vision for their future, but we also have some concerns about their future. There are a lot of challenges that young people with disabilities face in our communities and in our um, employment and post-secondary education. But I think we really need to listen to our young people and to hear their voice. It's their world and it's their life. And I think we have as parents to maybe step back a little bit and hear and listen to our young people. We've heard the mantra, nothing about us without us. And I think we need to take that to heart. We need to allow youth to explore the world, to test their ideas, to make mistakes. I think we can try to do that in safe environments and provide that background support. But they really need to build their own lives. And often their vision of what they want in the world is different from ours. And that, I think, is a conundrum for a lot of parents. So we know that we need, that students and young people need skills to navigate into the adult world, but they also need support and guidance. So I recently became aware of a new resource from NTAC, which is the National Technical Assistance Center on Transition. And they have a full list of predictors or practices that lead to positive post-school outcomes based on the work of parent centers and other organizations that are working in this field. We know that self-determination and self-advocacy is such a great skill for young people, and we have to teach it so that they have opportunities to um, try out their ideas, try to advocate for themselves in situations, and get feedback, positive feedback on how they did, so that they can try it again and in different environments. The best place to practice that is in high school and build it into your IEP so that each student is meeting with each one of their educators on a quarterly basis or at the end of each marking period to ask how are they doing in that class and what can they do to maybe do better in that class and have a conversation with that educator and talk about what supports would work for them and what's not working. They can transfer that to a post-secondary educational environment, to an internship, to a job, to even a day hab program. It's always important that the student has that self-determination, that self-advocacy skill, so they can talk about their needs in different environments. So in this list of practices, it really speaks to also the supports that students need. And I just talked about a practice opportunity in high school. But as parents who are assisting that young person to kind of navigate, I think number one, we have to listen. We have to stop and listen. And we have to stop putting our own vision on the young person and hear what their vision is, even if it's unrealistic. And that's the interesting part is where you hopefully provide enough opportunity for that young person to try that out. You shouldn't be the person that is popping the balloon and saying, no, that's not going to work, or that's totally unrealistic. Give them opportunities to test that idea and to kind of feel for themselves and to come back to you and say, I didn't really like that, or that's not going to work for me, or I tried it and no, it's not working and I want to try something else. So number one is listening. Number two is always set high expectations for your young people. I think those around them and even the young person themselves will start to see themselves differently and say, wow, do you really think I can do that? And your answer would be, well, let's try. What supports do you think you're going to need? So having those high expectations, verbalizing them, and sharing them with your young person. And I think that's going to bring the whole community of support to set high expectations for your young person. And you have to build that network of support, um, not only in the school environment, but in your community environment. It can be people outside of your family, it could be a coach, it could be somebody in a youth group, a neighbor. You never know who could be that supportive person in your community, but you've got to build it. And that's something families can do. Um, Ask the school how they're doing that in the school environment, but you need to build that community support in your world, among your family, among your friends, and in your community. And that might mean finding an outside mentor or coach for your young person. I always think that it's really great that you involve other people because they see your young person different. I think as a parent, you might be blinded by with those parent eyes and not see all the skills. And I think our young people act differently when they're outside of the home. And I was always surprised by my son's scout leaders who would talk about strengths and skills that they saw in their work with my sons, and I was very surprised. So that I think is important, and look for a mentor or a coach for your young person. It's somebody else for them to confide in and to test ideas also. That's a strong, supportive partner. I talked a little bit about providing all those opportunities for meaningful engagement. And that's outside of your family unit, maybe outside of the school also. What are some of the clubs or sports or groups that your young person can join? Um, they might have a hobby or an interest and be able to join a group with others. I had a colleague who had a daughter who loved to sing, and she got her involved in community chorus. And what happened was those chorus members ended up picking up her daughter and driving her to practices. And then they went out for coffee afterwards. So not only did she have an interest that was supported, a group of people that liked doing what she liked to do, she had transportation built into it, and she had social built into it. And so that club provided a great post-secondary support system for that young person. It could be around sports. We know that Special Olympics and Challenger sports are great opportunities for young people to stay active, to do things with friends around a common interest, and to have another person coaching them in those environments. To work on a team. How important is teamwork in all the things we do, especially in work? So those are great skills to have, and that's that network, that opportunity for them to engage in their community. And then I really think young people need to find some kind of a group where they can share among peers their ideas, their dreams, their goals, and feel connected. And that I think is hardest for a lot of parents of kids with special needs to find those advocacy groups or peer groups, but doesn't mean we can't build them ourselves. So always look to opportunities when you're meeting other families to say, how can we keep our kids connected? That's a great opportunity for young people to have their own voice. Um, and I think families um, don't really have a sense of what it's like. And so at the Federation, we've had an opportunity to, within our Planning a Life conference, to expose parents to young self advocates who've gone out into the world, who are exploring community college and job opportunities. And when we bring that panel in front of other parents and they talk about how people supported their vision, gave them the opportunity to try things, and were there when they failed and got them into new opportunities. It's, I think, always very enlightening for those parents to see how the young person is flourishing. And the comments we hear is like, gee, I never saw my child doing that, but now I see it might be possible. So I think the lesson for today is to listen and learn from our youth, to be there in a supportive role, but also to involve others. How important it is that we have many voices in supporting our young people. So that's it for Transition Tuesday. I hope you have a great day, and please stay tuned tomorrow. It's Wellness Wednesday at 2 p.m. at the Federation. Thank you.